party can go straight to hell.
The real enemy is the Tea Party.
Some of them in Congress right now under this Tea Party movement would love to see you and me hanging on a tree.
You are the only folks keeping the barbarians from the gate.
Let's take these son of a bitches out and give America back to America where we belong. Thank you very much.
I think he's got to draw a line in the sand. I mean, he can't get rolled over again. He's got to sit down and say, look, and go to the American people. There's going to be an election in 12. And the answer is maybe we wipe these people out.
I rest my case. I have never seen anything like this in my life. We have the Black Caucus. We have the Teamsters president, James Hoffa Jr., saying take these people out. And this is not happening by accident. This is an orchestrated desire to stir up enmity in this country and conduct a campaign of terror that, if you fall for their trap, will lead to a civil war in the country, which only benefits the left-wing elite radicals who want to take this country apart to the extent it'll never be put back together again like Humpty Dumpty. Now, I'm going to talk about this because I told you yesterday I don't have any evidence. It's one man's opinion. I'm sitting here watching the world go round in my yellow submarine, and I believe that this is being orchestrated by the Obama administration from the top down, first using the Congressional Black Caucus, then the unions, and God knows what's going to happen next. But given the violence of the Teamsters in the past, I would expect violence in the very near future, unless the American people stand up and don't fall for it, number one, and unless, number two, the government protects the people from the unions. Now, that's a strange statement. In the early days, the Teamsters were known for what they are. I mean, Mr. Hoffa's father did a lot for the truck drivers. There's no question about it. But we also know all of the shady dealings that were involved, and as a result, there have been movies written about it, and the FBI knew very much what was going on with the Teamsters Union Fund in Las Vegas. Everyone knows that. It's part of the American history. But in those days, you had a government that knew what was going on and worked to stop it. Today, we have a government that knows what's going on and works to, let us say, move it along. Now, let me tell you something you have to know. This is very important. I got this email from my literary agent, Michael. He says, your book is number 20 on Amazon. It started at 5,000 yesterday before the show began. He said, but the titles numbers 1 to 19 are all either paperbacks, self-help, nonfiction, or children's books, which means that your novel, Abuse of Power, appears to me to be the number one hardcover fiction title right now. This is an amazing thing. You have made Abuse of Power the number one hardcover fiction title overnight. And I'm talking to the audience of the Savage Nation. Let me continue. This is very important for you to know there, because this is tied right into the politics of the day. The fact that you could drive my novel, Abuse of Power, to the number one hardcover fiction title overnight, just from this show alone, without the help of the high and mighty, without Fox News, without Rush Limbaugh, without anybody in the media other than you. They all said Michael Savage was too extreme, that Michael Savage didn't play ball, that he made people uncomfortable. Well, let me tell you something. The Savage Nation has broken away from the establishment and from the so-called conservative counterparts, and you have started your own grassroots movement of real people. Now, here's where I'm going with this. This program, this audience, this show, this listenership is the most unrequited force of social change in the United States of America. I'll repeat it to you again. You are not connected to the media elites. We had an election after the communists seized power. We had an election after he was put into power by the bankers of Wall Street and the bankers of Zurich. We had an election, and the Democrats were thrown out on their keisters. And it happened because the independents of America have had enough of the fake Republicans like Romney. Now, I don't care that Romney won't come on the show. He's committing hara-kiri. I don't care that Perry won't come on the show. He's also committing hara-kiri. I don't care that the Amway woman will not come on the Savage Nation. She's already fallen to last place because she gave you the middle finger. After using you and making money from you, Bachman said drop dead to you. They're all the same. Let me tell you something. They're all full of crap, every last one of them. Until I know otherwise, they're all full of crap. They're all part of the establishment. And you have demonstrated why Obama and every false conservative in the Republican Party should be very, very frightened right now. They've lost their grip on the average person. If my novel, Abuse of Power, can be made into the #1 book on Amazon.com amongst fiction, hardcover, without anybody's help, then the media is no longer needed. If books that are boosted by the government media complex can be displaced by one man speaking the truth and the people who believe passionately in me, then come the next election, these politicians will be out of a job. You have voted for abuse of power and the savage nation. And soon, this same force will drive you to the ballot box. You are part of something enormous right now, much stronger, much more tangible than the media elites will ever be. The empty skirts have long since predicted the death of talk radio and the death of the savage nation, but we're still here. This show is getting stronger. How else can you explain a book going to #1 without the support of the cable networks, without Fox News, without the newspapers, without the fake conservative radio hosts? I may be invisible to them. They think that in order to be successful, I have to line up and kiss their rings. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the right people, and I don't say the right things. I speak only what I think to be the truth. I may be unknown, but I'm known by the savage nation, and that's all that counts to me. I'm Michael Savage. I'll be right back. Indeed, wipe these people out. Take these sons of bitches out. Tea Party is the enemy. There is a war, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, whether you wanted it or not, you have been targeted. Now, who is you? Who are you? Who's the Tea Party? They would like America to believe that the Tea Party, a group of people from the movie, I forget the name of the movie where they had buck teeth, and they went around just killing people. But the Tea Party is the middle class of America. The Tea Party are the folks who actually pay taxes. As I have said, and I use common sense, tell me if I'm wrong, let us use common sense for a moment. They're attacking the Tea Party as though it's some fringe group, right? As if there's a single Tea Party, #1, which there isn't. The Tea Party movement is the grassroots movement that the radical left has never been able to actually create. They have rent-a-mobs, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. Those are rent-a-mobs. Basically rent-a-mobs. They pay people to come and threaten businesses to shake them down, in my estimation. But now you have a spontaneous movement of tax-paying people who've said enough is enough, the government's out of control, stop the spending, stop sending money to your friends on Wall Street, stop paying off the guys who did this to us, et cetera, and so on. Rein in Obama's insane spending. Tell Michelle to stop spending $10 million a year on vacations. In other words, they're you and I. We're taxed to death and we don't want to pay anymore. And they've tried to make it sound as though the Tea Party are a group of people from deliverance. Rapists, murderers, thugs, etc. But make no mistake about it, what they're doing is they're attacking the middle class. They're attacking the taxpayer in support of the tax takers. Where do you think that $1 trillion in stimulus money went? Has it gone to you? Has it gone to anyone you know? Where's it gone? Where's the money? Does anyone know where it went? There were a group of very powerful international bankers and other nefarious forces who put Obama into the White House, in my estimation. And I wrote about it in the book Trickle Up Poverty, which sold over 200,000 copies in hardcover, published by Harper's back in last year. But you see, something happened after that book came out in 2010. There was an election. And at the election, all of the Democrats, with the exception of 2, were thrown out of office. Anyone who ran lost except for two races. The Republicans swept the elections in 2010. The media would like you to forget that. The media would like to tell you that it didn't happen. But the media is a liar. The media is a whore. And she's a lying whore at that. Not all whores are liars, but in this case, the media is a lying whore. I got to tell you that. Because there was an election, and you voted. And it's the very same audience that made this book what it became yesterday, and will make it what it becomes next week when you go into the bookstores, that threw the bums out in 2010, and you're going to do it again in 2012 unless, and here's the kicker, unless Obama continues to grant amnesty to illegal aliens in the darkest of nights, on Sundays and on Friday nights. For example, over this last weekend, Obama's cousin, his political cousin, Governor Jerry Brown of California, another radical leftist who posed as a centrist to get reelected, but went back to his radical leftist roots after he seized power through the help of the SEIU and other unions. Over the weekend, Jerry Brown granted amnesty to illegal aliens in the form of the so-called DREAM Act. He gave free tuition to illegal aliens in the state colleges of California when the state is broke to the tune of $20 or $30 billion a year. That's the exact opposite of the prescription that is necessary to save California and save the United States of America. And that is because the radical leftist or communist elites could care less about America. They care only about aggrandizing power and more power. And so you drove the elections in 2010. You have driven abuse of power to where it went on the list. And you did it without the cable news networks. You did it without Fox News. You did it without the bloggers. You did it without Rush Limbaugh and Sean Wallbanger. You did it without, in other words, the media elites. You are the independent voters of America. That's you. The members of the savage nation are the most unrequited force in American politics. You are the most powerful, unrequited force in American politics. Romney had dinner with me in 2010 and wouldn't come on the show after that because his campaign advisors, who are professional freelancers who could work one day for a Democrat, the next day for a Republican, one day for Romney, the next day for Karl Marx. It doesn't matter to them who they vote for. They could fly down and work for Chavez after they get through with Romney. They said to him, oh, don't go on Michael Savage's show. He's too extreme. He's too unreliable. He's not a member of the party. So Romney wouldn't come on the show. We got the same from Bachmann. She came before you. She begged you for money. I sent her money. You sent her money. You saved her hide when she was being attacked by Nancy Pelosi. And then her handler said, don't go on the Michael Savage show. Well, where is she today? What happened to Bachmann? What happened is you heard me tell you what she did, and you drove her down in the poll. Make no mistake about it. I don't need the papers to confirm this. I know what happened. It was because of my campaign of truth with regard to Bachmann that she's become an also-ran. And I'm going to tell you something else. Perry won't come on the show. And if this continues, you're going to have Obama again. I'll tell you that right now. Because I'll tell you why. Not because you have the power to vote. It's because you have the power not to vote. See, that's something that people don't understand. The only reason we won the elections last year in 2010 is because the base was electrified. The conservative base went out, and they voted the Democrats out. But if the Republicans and the fake independents continue to disappoint you, continue to disrespect you, you're not going to vote for them. It's not that you're going to vote for Obama. You just won't vote at all. They haven't figured out why Carly Fiorina lost in California. They haven't figured out why Meg Whitman lost in California. It wasn't that they were too liberal, which they were. It's that they would not talk to the conservative voter. They wouldn't even throw you a scrap of what you wanted. Neither Whitman nor Fiorina would talk about the illegal alien hordes that have taken over the state of California. Not one word against the illegal alien hordes. Not one word about Islamofascism. Not one word about the cultural degeneracy in California that is raping us and killing us. Not one word out of Whitman or Fiorina. So why should you get out and go vote for them? If they're not representing you, you didn't, and that was the end of the election. And it's the same story right here in the savage nation. You are the most unrequited and the most powerful force of independence in this country. And I want to thank you for driving this book where it has gone. I'll be right back.